My mission is simple, to make you money. I'm here to level the playing field for all investors. There's always a bull market somewhere, and I promise to help you find it. Mad Money starts now. Hey, I'm Cramer. Welcome to Mad Money. Welcome to Cramerica. Other people want to make friends? I'm just trying to make you less money. My job is not just to entertain, but to educate, teach. Call me at 1-800-743-CNBC. Tweet me at Jim Cramer. Whenever there's a big trend, everybody always wants to play this silly game of trying to figure out what inning it's in. What inning are we with the weight loss drugs? Hey, how about with the electric vehicles? Or maybe with the Fed's next move? Could be the seventh there. We're clearly in the final inning of the Nelson Peltz proxy fight for a board seat or two at Walt Disney because Peltz didn't get the votes. But he could pick up a cool $1 billion in profit. Good investment, all things considered. But the inning game that bothers me the most is what inning are we in the artificial intelligence boom? For the last few days, we've seen everything coming down the AI space. And now people are arguing that because of the declining stock prices, we're in the late innings of this story. Perhaps it was all overdone to begin with. Fortunately, that wasn't enough to do that much damage today. Dow only slipping 43 points. S&P was up 0.11%. NASDAQ gained 0.23%, much stronger at 1 point today. But still, with the bellwether of AI, NVIDIA now down from its high of 974 to 889. Down another $4.88 today. We're now being told that NVIDIA's GTC conference and its exciting range of supercomputers is just old hat. It's been replaced by the golden age of refining, sending stocks like Marathon, Pete, and Valero soaring. Oh, there's tech. Oh, it's the golden age of the dollar stores, with Dollar General and Dollar Tree both on fire. Despite reporting weak quarters this month, Dollar Tree's got a great candy aisle. We're hearing even that Chippy and Autocado, those two Chipotle robots, they're in the seventh inning stretch. Move over, NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang. It's all about the oils and the golds. They've got the mojo. Mojo per share. To which I say, hold it. Enough already. When you hear all this inning talk and the accompanying bubble chatter, it's clear that lots of investors have no idea what AI is, let alone generative AI, or what it'll be used for, let alone how its adoption represents a genuine industrial revolution, right up there with the steam engine. In fairness, the reason they have no idea is because we really haven't even seen anything transformative from the AI camp just yet, or at least nothing that's all that visible. It's true that artificial intelligence has suffused the design, changed sales tactics for Salesforce, or onboarding for ServiceNow. There's no doubt that inference has influenced you to buy certain products on Amazon that you might otherwise not have known about. You may have stuck you'd be with Instagram or Reels because of ultra-fast speed for video. Dell will make money connecting you to the NVIDIA world. Dell actually roared, by the way, to a new all-time high today. People remember that it's doing very well. But in terms of innings, I don't think the AI game has even started yet because the tech's still too slow to matter. The big gun computers that Jensen Huang rolled out, the ones that we saw when we were out there, they won't be in the data center until the fall. So let me tell you some of the things I see that are off the beaten track. They tell me AI is still in the batting practice stage, only for those who feel they need warming up. First, one of the best uses for AI is replacing humans to do repetitive jobs, what we used to call dead-end jobs, and that includes Chippy and Autocado. Now, I saw an autonomous forklift at the GTC that never breaks down and will one day be able to replace any human, except for it's actually more like replacing multiple humans, because it can operate 24/7. It can see around the corner. It ain't going to stumble. I saw a machine that was desperately trying to pick up a box, but couldn't because the box was actually too close to the end of an invisible wall. So the robot arm knew not to go near it. The next iteration would never be deterred by that, could pick up pretty much anything, and that's coming. Maybe a year from now, maybe shorter. I saw a robot bartender who could make me one of just 3 drinks, and they were mocktails. It was, look, it's a machine that can't be programmed yet to do everything a real bartender would, because the current NVIDIA chip that powers it can't process all that. But the next one might be able to. I wanted to know if they could program the bartender to make a drink shaken or stirred in homage to James Bond. Robot exec said it's pretty much just a matter of time, especially if you can show it the right videos. Anything I can do, it can do better. How about a robot playing sports? The new ones that aren't out yet will be able to pitch a perfect game every time simply by watching videos of pitchers that have won perfect games, then matching those against what deficiencies the hitters have, again, by looking at the videos. Consider AI to mean that a robot will be able to do anything physical that a person can do, which allows that person to do literally anything else. I do not think AI will crush jobs in the aggregate, although it may replace a lot of undesirable jobs. We're coming from a world where those Few who can code have an unassailable edge on everybody else. AI can level the playing field. Because these computers understand the spoken word, not just hard-to-learn code that you have to go to get a computer science degree to do. Sure, we won't need as many forklift operators, but you know what? Right now, we don't have enough people to do these many jobs in the first place. Don't forget, we still have a labor shortage in this country, and in many cases, wages are more expensive than most businesses would like or can even afford. Many other countries, by the way, have low birth rates, and they, too, need these machines. I experienced this in my old restaurants. Nobody wanted to do some of the jobs except the prices that made the restaurants operate at a loss. You need to think of AI as a tool to start a business that you couldn't otherwise start. Okay, think about it like that. So, yes, we'll lose some jobs, but we'll also get more business formation that spurs new hiring that I think will exceed the lost jobs. The most difficult aspects of generative AI and large language models have to do with our inability to grasp what can actually be changed here. Other than a few very imaginative people who can think about what super speed might mean to computing, people like Jensen Huang and his colleagues at NVIDIA, we lack the ability to comprehend what the robots can really do, or what we can do if we're able to directly ask computers questions that we can't even think of now. We just aren't there yet. Because to see this, you need to be a visionary. Jensen can see the future out 10 years. That's all we talk about when I'm out there. Most of us have a hard time seeing things out 10 minutes. Which brings me all the way back to the stock market. We heard on Squawk Box today that Mets owner and legendary hedge fund manager Steve Cohen believes that AI cycle could be in 1995, not 2000. So, of course, what happens? People go crazy and they buy Dell up 8, they buy Broadcom up 2, these percentages. We decided to go back to some micro, to super micro. We go back to Micron, but not Intel because it blew up again, this time underestimating losses from the semiconductor foundry strategy it has. In this sense, the trajectory of artificial intelligence is similar to the trajectory of the PC. When Intel went from 386 to 486, we figured, okay, it's over. Who needs anything more powerful than that? Turns out we all needed the next generation of Pentium. We just didn't know yet. Bottom line, when it comes to AI, it's like the 286 is out. We're scoffing at the possibility of the 386 and the 486 down the road. Aren't we already going fast enough? My view, no. We aren't going fast enough because we just learned how to crawl. There could be a real riot when we stand up and learn to walk to the ballpark to catch batting practice, or maybe our national anthem. Let's go to Tyler in California. Tyler.
Big booyah from California. How you doing, Jim?
I like the sound of this, Tyler. What do you got going for me?
Hey, based on 2001 tech bubble numbers, what is your price target for ARM?
Well, my partner, Jeff Marks, and I talk a lot about price targets. We do not have one for ARM. But I do think that over time, I think that Rene Haas is just fabulous as a CEO, and I would buy that stock easily up 25 to 30 points without a problem. That's where I think the stock could head without. It was at 164. It can go up some more. Michael in Virginia. Michael.
Booyah, Jim.
Booyah, Michael.
I've been watching you for years.
Thank you.
Last month, March 4th. I started to purchase shares of Zoetis around 187. I noticed that it's been trading down for about a month now. I'm down 13% in my initial position that I took. I've been building a position as we go along over the last month. I'm trying to figure out why the stock continues to pull back, and should I buy more? Okay,
I think it's because of Merck Animal Health. I think Merck Animal Health is doing incredibly well. I do believe that Merck has a lot of competitive products to them, and that does matter. I also think that IDEX Labs is doing better. I don't think Zoetis is a sale here, but understand that Merck is a very powerful company that's doing a lot of things right, and particularly in animal health. Let's go to Trey in Texas. Trey.
Jim, I bought a Ford Ranger pickup truck, and let me tell you, this beast is perfect for delivering pizzas and picking up groceries. That said, I'll probably buy a Chevy truck if I ever need some real payload. Speaking of payload, is GM a buy?
I like GM very much, and the buyback is formidable, and I think the buyback has made it so that it's become a very good stock on any weakness. I have to tell you, I have the Ford Maverick, and I absolutely love it. And I had the Super Duty, and I think it's terrific. And I do think that stock is going higher too, because we saw some fabulous numbers. Go listen to what Phil LeBeau had to say about hybrids. It's all Ford's time. All right, look, when it comes to advancing AI, some may say we're going fast enough. In my view, we're just learning how to crawl, and there could be a real riot once we stand up and learn how to walk to the stadium. On Mad Money tonight, CSX, holy cow, has set up a special route from Baltimore to NYC to manage the impact of the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse. I'm hearing more about that and about safety when it comes to rails. Then the small caps have caught fire as of late. So could that opportunity remain in the cohort, or does it move too much? I'm digging into the details. And from blenders to vacuums, Shark Ninja has a place in your home, but should have a place in your portfolio. I'm sitting down with the company's CEO to get the latest in the story, so stay with Cramer.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @Jim Cramer on X. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadMentions. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.